Poland, 1984. A quiet town surrounded by forests and lakes, Bytow. A place where nothing ever happened, until people began disappearing. Women, men, even children. The bodies, when they were found, were mutilated, defiled, and drained. Locals whispered about a monster lurking in the woods. They called him the Vampire of Bytów. But he wasn't a myth. He was real. His name was Leszek Pękalski. Beat. Title appears The Vampire of Bytów, The True Story of Leszek Pękalski. Segment 1. The Making of a Monster, 052 an. Leszek Pękalski was born in 1966 in Pomerania, Poland. From the beginning, his life was a portrait of neglect and abuse. Raised in poverty, mocked for his learning disabilities, and abandoned by his parents, Leszek grew up craving control in a world that gave him none. He was quiet, awkward, and deeply lonely. Neighbors described him as harmless, a bit strange, the kind of man people ignored. But behind that shy smile was something festering. As a teenager, Pękalski began stalking women. He'd watch them bathe through windows, follow them home at night. Soon, watching wasn't enough. Segment 2. The First Kill, 2 Bytow. In 1984, a woman's body was found near Bytow, strangled and sexually assaulted. Police had no leads, no suspects, just a growing fear that something terrible had begun. It was only the first in a long line of brutal murders that would stretch across almost a decade. Victims were found in forests, in abandoned barns, along rural roads, all killed with shocking violence. Each scene spoke of rage, obsession, and something ritualistic. Blood was drained, bodies mutilated, and always, signs of sexual assault. The locals began calling the killer Vampire of Bytów, the Vampire of Bytów. Segment 3, Years of Terror, 3:15 Through the late 1980s, rural Poland lived in fear. Women stopped walking alone. Parents kept children indoors. The police, overwhelmed and under-equipped, had no idea who the killer was. Leszek, meanwhile, wandered freely. He took odd jobs, farm work, cleaning, simple labor. Everywhere he went, people vanished. He'd later tell investigators that murder made him feel like someone important. He said he couldn't stop. That after every killing, he felt a calm satisfaction. Until the hunger came back. Witnesses remembered him for his eerie calmness. A man who smiled for no reason, who could talk about death without blinking. Some reports even suggest he practiced necrophilia, returning to his victims' graves or bodies. This is where the vampire nickname stuck, not for drinking blood, but for his obsession with death itself. Segment 4. The Capture, 5:6:30. By 1992, the murders had piled up. One police officer, frustrated by the lack of progress, began focusing on local drifters and loners. That's when he found Leszek. During questioning, something strange happened. Leszek started talking. A lot. He confessed to 17 murders, then 30, then 50, eventually claiming over 80 victims. He described the crimes in chilling detail, where he met the victims, how he killed them, what he did afterward. He even led police to burial sites and locations of unsolved murders. But here's the twist. Some of the details didn't line up. Some of the evidence was missing. And others believed he was confessing to crimes he hadn't actually committed, maybe for attention, maybe from confusion, maybe both. Segment 5, Trial of the Vampire, 6:38. In 1996, Leszek Pękalski went to trial. The courtroom was packed. Journalists, police, families of victims, and curious locals who wanted to see the vampire in person. He looked nothing like a monster. Short, nervous, almost childlike. But when he spoke, it sent chills down the room. He smiled when describing his crimes. He showed no remorse. He said, It just happened. I didn't plan it. I wanted to see what it felt like. Despite his confessions, prosecutors could only prove one murder beyond reasonable doubt. The 1992 killing of a 23-year-old woman named Sylvia R. The rest lacked hard evidence. Verdict: guilty of one murder. Sentence: 25 years in prison. Segment 6, the aftermath, 8-9-20, 25 years, for a man who may have killed dozens. But Poland had no death penalty at the time, and psychiatric experts labeled him mentally impaired. He served most of his sentence in psychiatric facilities, under constant supervision. In 2019, when his release date approached, the country erupted in fear again. Petitions, protests, and debates spread. Could this man, the Vampire of Bytów, walk free? Ultimately, Leszek was declared a continued threat to society and moved to a secure psychiatric institution in Gostynin, a place designed for the most dangerous offenders. He remains there to this day, silent, aging, and waiting. Leszek Pękalski. A story is more than just one man's evil. It is a warning about how monsters can hide in plain sight. He wasn't clever or charismatic or famous. He was invisible. And maybe that's what makes him the most terrifying of all. How many more could he have killed? No one knows for sure. But if the Vampire of Bytów ever told the truth, then somewhere in the Polish countryside, there may still be dozens of victims we'll never find. Music fades to silence. Text on screen. Subscribe for more unseen true crime.